to call it yourself, and here's how you go into it. And she called me back the next day. She's like, Martha was so helpful. I called on it. I got the listing appointment. Like, she was like,
That's so cool.
it was great. She did great with it, and she really could have done it on her own. It was really just making sure she knew to call, that John called, that this. It was very simple lead-in kind of talk.
Now, question: when an agent calls on one of my PVLs and gets a listing appointment, and then say they get the listing, do I still get credit for that listing because it was my PVL?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Everyone gets credit for it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's still just like everyone got it.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's not.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Cool.
We might change it down the road, but I don't wanna. I just want it to work.
Right.
And then go from there. It's not letting me go by that.
I definitely got to say though, that verbiage we've been going over for sale by owners between like us and Ron, it's really been helping. Like, I've been converting a lot more for sale by owners lately.
Yeah. And the ones I don't convert on that verbiage, they literally hang up with me in the conversation because I made way too much sense to them. And I set them for a follow-up anyway, so.
Yeah, they're either at a point where they're dead silent because they know you're right and then they'll let you keep talking, or they do the same thing except they end up hanging up because they don't want to admit they were wrong.
That's so funny. That's so cool.
Really?
All right. So if you guys could just like, go ahead. So, Mark, what have you been getting out of the training?
You want me to concentrate on?
Yeah, just
on the same day, next day part?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
here's how same day, next day has been working. If you've gained, we have to start off with, if you've gained value in the conversation.
Yeah.
And you go the right value, you prove your point that it's worth talking.
Yeah.
And you go for that same day, next day. It's probably been about more like 50% of the ones I ask for, I get same day or next day.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing outside of that is, when I ask for it, there's almost a knee-jerk reaction because I've made sense to them. They do want to meet on it, but they're like, oh, this has to happen right away. Well, and then they immediately throw out like, well, how about Friday or Saturday? And I throw a time right away. As soon as they say that, I throw out a time, and they typically will agree to it for, it might be 2 or 3 days out.
So even if you don't get the same day, they'll just kind of like, instead of not setting up an appointment at all, they'll say, can we do it like the next day, or they'll throw out another time.
Where when I wasn't concentrating on same day, next day, and it would go, oh, can you do this day? No, can you do that day? It keeps going out.
Yeah.
Where it's a lot easier to pull that date, sorry, John.
Right.
It's a lot easier to pull that date right in because they go for another, you've made sense to them, they're not gonna do same day or next day, and they grab the other date right away. And I just grab the time, as soon as they say that.
That's good.
And so anytime I ask for it, it's been about 70% in those conversations that I actually get the appointment within about 2 or 3 days.
Awesome. So awesome. Great work. Let's give them another round of applause.
Well, I mean, coaching us on it is really the thing. It's not.
Yeah. Well, look, it's
just
but it's, the coach is only as good as the person that actually decides to implement some of the ideas, and you're implementing it, right? And so I think that's what's awesome to see, and it's really rewarding from the outside looking in to see people. I'm sure you feel that way too, Ron.
I do.
Is when you see people starting to implement things and they thrive. And
It's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Without that, I'm gonna go work for McDonald's.
Yeah. So that's great, guys.
It increases live transfers too.
Yeah, there's a lot of psychology to it. I think it increases live transfers. The other thing is too is that it's harder for people to think about their schedule 4 days from now or 3 days from now. So if we say, hey, look, what times works over the next couple of days where you could get together. A lot of people don't know in their head exactly what's going on in the next couple of days. So now they're going through their camp. Now we're making them think, right? We're making them think a lot. Oh, what do I have going on Thursday? And now we're dropping all these times where if you just say what works better, or actually, how about later today, like 6 o'clock? Most people know what's going on that day, right? So they don't have to think about it as much, which is less painful for them. And it seems counterintuitive because it's like, oh, it seems like it's too much pressure. It's actually, for a lot of people, like, it's less pressure because they don't have to think about it. They already know their schedule. So just to kind of keep that in mind, so.
Yeah, that whole thing about trying to plan something for 4 days out, now all the other things over the next 4 days come into play when you're trying to set
Yeah.
that, rather than just, hey, what's going on tomorrow?
Right,
You know?
right, exactly, exactly, so.
I'd say it's the same on PVLs too, like I've been focusing more on the live transfers.
Okay.
You know, pitching that first versus before we did that, you know.
Yeah.
I think the conversion rate's gone up a lot because back when I first started, we would just set PVLs, like we would just say he's gonna call you or
Yeah.
she's gonna call you in a general statement, and then they hardly ever pick up the phone. But now that I've actually been live transferring to Mark, I think I had like 4 live transfers yesterday and 3 of them became appointments, so it's been, you know, really helping
That's awesome,
both of us.
that's great. Okay, so, one quick reminder, or just a review here, a couple things that we've been covering. What are some of the pain points of for-sale owners? What are some of the pains that they go through?
The hassle of phone calls from realtors, and weeding them out to actual prospects,
Okay,
showing the property,
yeah,
those are 2 big ones.
there's one missing.
I mean, if it's a late age
We'll
there,
go back to our FSBO dilemma slide, see if we can.
So pretty much the marketing, having them have the resources to be able to do it.
Uh-huh. Right?
You're talking what they know already? I was talking stuff they actually tell us, rather
Oh, what they tell
than
you?
what we know.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, what we know, yeah, that's a better way to say it, yeah, what we know their pain is. It's right up on the screen.
they're not getting any offers.
You read.
Can you read?
Right, so market, so exposure,
Yep. Exposure,
price,
price,
Offers.
offers, showings, some of the other stuff we said. But just kind of keep it at the top of our mind, especially like, you might not be able to make sense to do it right out of the gate, but if you get a knee jerk or if you get an objection kind of through your process today, just think about the big one being marketing. You know, like, what are they doing to get exposure to their property? And if they're a FSBO that's been on the market for 2 weeks, remember, could that potentially be a red flag?
Mm-hmm.
Could that potentially be a red flag?
1 week.
1 week,
Yeah, in this market,
in this market, 1 week, right?
something's wrong.
Something's going on, right?
had another one yesterday that listed within a couple weeks of talking to John
Wow,
in the PVLs.
it was a FSBO? Or expired?
It was a FSBO,
That's
it
amazing.
was a FSBO, and almost every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working in like the late April timeframe from your calls.
Mm-hmm.
And almost every day that I'm doing my call block, I'm getting at least 1, sometimes 2. One day I think I had 3 that had listed within a couple weeks of talking to you. So that's a charge for us to, you know, be working those PVLs, you know what I mean? Because they're going to list with somebody eventually, most of them, right? And then also, I don't know if it, well, we'll take it another offline meeting, but maybe there's an opportunity to follow up with those ones. Because you're filling the hopper with new ones all the time, but maybe going back, I don't know, you probably already do that, John, but I'm just not aware of it, but like.
Like, what are you saying, like following up with the PVLs?
Yeah, like the PVLs that we have, like the FSBOs, I mean, again, it's literally almost every day that I'm calling through them, I'm finding ones that are already listed again. And I'm putting that on us, on the agents, we should be calling those, and I'm calling as many as I can. And as we grow, we'll have more people calling them, but there's opportunity there, they're listing. You know what I mean? And so you're doing a great job touching them, and then, you know, the follow-up on that too, we can get more business. You know what I mean?
Do you guys call your PPLs back to try to get a live transfer again, or?
I
Oh, yeah.
call everything back from January, like, I
Do
mean,
you- Well,
I
see,
go
like,
down
I
the
have
entire
a
list. That's-
spreadsheet.
I was actually referring to the SDS.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No.
excuse
I
me.
have a spreadsheet, and it really depends on how old the PVL is, like if
Right.
it's more than a couple weeks old, you know, I'll try to get in touch with it. But there was a lot of old data for Dream Team that you see in your account that's not in our accounts anymore because it's from our old
No, I'm
accounts.
talking about ones that,
April, May.
yeah, April, May, you know.
Those
not-
are
not
already
May.
in our follow-ups,
Yeah,
like
we
we've
call-
got
we call-
schedules.
You're
we
calling
constantly
back?
call them back. I
Okay,
found
okay.
2, I found probably 3 or 4 also minimum that have already listed with other people
Okay,
that we
that's
keep
I mean, like
following
that,
up on and.
what was that one that you listed out in like, Hamlin or something like that? Caledonia, like the guy that came back from Florida,
Oh, that's Watoma Beach.
Watoma Beach. I've been talking to him since January.
Okay.
I've actually had, I think, 7 conversations with him since
You are
January.
following up on him.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
Mark talked to him twice, and I think we were gonna he said he was coming back in May. And so like you just got to him like right before we did.
That's,
So,
and that's no problem.
Yeah.
You know your process. I mean, honestly, I look at it on myself, I'm like, how can I get to these people faster, you know what I mean?
mhm.
So, but anyway, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask Ron a question, about the paperwork part, cause like, if they are for sale by owner and they don't have an agent that's filling out their paperwork, does their lawyer fill out the paperwork?
Usually,
Yeah, a lot of times I'll hear them on the phone say that they have a lawyer that they're using to do paperwork.
yeah, even a buyer without an agent uses a lawyer. Most of the time it's the seller, and then they lean hard on their lawyer to, when they get a contract, to look at it, whatever the case may be. What they don't realize is that lawyer is gonna get paid whether they close or not. Where if an agent's doing it, if it doesn't close, they got it for free.
Okay.
Because the lawyer's not gonna do this for free, it's $250 an hour.
Oh, I get it. It's not performance-based.
No, it's not. It's not. You're on the clock.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't get it, because like it said there, how do they know if there's a qualified or unqualified buyer looking at their house, getting ready to write an offer? How do they know? You know?
Right.
And if they don't have an agent, and the seller doesn't have an agent,
Oh.
what are you people doing?
Got it.
All right, who's gonna get sued after the sale? Let's see. You know, so,
I get it. So that's the unqualified buyer pain point to them is they go through, pay their attorney to go through the whole process and then it falls apart.
and the attorney's do they make sure they got the property condition disclosure? Because if the attorney screws up, they didn't get it, the buyer's attorney's gonna say, well, they owe us $500, and now you got a battle at the closing, well, we're not paying $500. Why does that have to happen? So,
Got it.
property inspections, who's gonna take care of that? The attorneys, there's another $250, that's an hour.
Right.
Attorneys don't bill you for 15 minutes, they run, you know what I mean, so, anyway.
That's good.
All right, so who wants to go first for role play?
I'll go.
All right,
Do you want me to do like a live transfer to Mark?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ron, you ready?
I'm always ready,
All right,
especially
John.
for him.
Drum roll.
Hi, I was looking for the property owner of 123 Main.
You didn't call me yet.
Get a ring first.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Hi, I was looking for the property owner of 123 Main.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Hi, this is John. Who am I speaking with?
This is Ron. Are you a buyer?
It's a great question, Ron. I was calling actually because I saw it online. I was trying to find out if you had sold it or were you still taking offers?
Are you a buyer?
That's a great question. I'm actually a prospector. What I
Okay.
do is I look for properties in the area that might be available
For
because
who?
my company Advantage U, we're a for sale by owner resource. So what I do is I look to see what's available in the area because we're going through such a low inventory, as
Are
I'm
you an
sure you
agent?
know. No, I'm not an agent. Like I said, I'm a prospector. And my company Advantage U works as a for sale by owner resource. What we do, Ron, is we use our nationwide network to help you attract qualified buyers, but also to make sure that you're maximizing your property value.
So what do you get out of it?
What I get out of it is helping people, making sure that you're getting the most and trying to get our ideas in front of you to see if we could help you. Now, Ron, what I see online is that it's been on the market for a few weeks. Is that about right?
Oh, a few weeks, no, it's only been on the market about 21 days, 20 days.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
an agent?
No, like I said, I'm a prospector, Ron. I'm not a real estate agent. Like I said, what I do is I just look to see what's available. But were you still taking offers on the property?
I would definitely look at any offer.
Oh, okay, cool. Have you gotten any offers since you put it on the market?
No, not yet,
No? Okay,
no.
okay. I mean, it's such a beautiful property. Why would you even consider selling it?
Why can't I?
Oh, no, I'm not saying you can't. I was just kind of surprised that you even would. I mean,
Why,
Are those-
You're not a buyer, why do you need to know that?
just trying to see how we can help you, Ron.
Oh, okay, good.
I mean, Ron, if we were able to help you get the right offer on your property, maybe even walk away with a little more, is that at least worth a conversation?
I don't know, I'm not paying a commission, cause it sounds like I'd have to pay something to get that, so I'm really not interested.
Oh, you don't wanna take out of your bottom line, right?
No,
Right, right.
I'm really not interested, so you know, if you get a buyer, bring them around.
Oh, definitely understand that,
And
Ron.
maybe
but
I'll
it-
give you a little gift spiff or something. if you do it
Right,
for me.
but Ron, let me ask you a quick question, yes or no? If you were able to get your bottom line out of this property, do you really care how it was sold?
What do you mean bottom line? What are
Like, you have a
talking
number in your head that you wanna walk away with on the property,
about? Of
correct?
course I do.
Okay, if you were able to get that number, do you really care how it was sold or how it was marketed?
Well, yeah, I wanna make sure I get that number.
Well, of
So,
course,
you
of
know,
course, that's what I'm saying, if you could get that number, you'd wanna know about that, right?
Yeah,
Okay, and if we were able to help you obtain that number or possibly even more, is that at least worth, a conversation?
yeah, but I'm not gonna pay the commission, because if I gotta pay the commission, I'm not gonna get what I want.
Okay, regardless of commission, Ron, if you walk away with what you want on the property, does commission really matter?
Well, how are they gonna do it for free?
I'm not. What are you trying to say?
I'm gonna say transfer.
Yeah, transfer it.
Why would I transfer it right there?
Look,
We'll
if you-
show you.
We'll show, let us show
Okay.
you, let us show
Keep
you.
it that simple.
I
Yeah.
got confused.
I gave them two transfers.
Yeah, he gave you
I
two
gave him
chances.
Transfer opportunity.
And you're trying to get him to buy in right away, but
Yeah.
he's already kind of like,
He just wants to keep arguing with me. Transfer me.
Let me connect you with somebody that can answer that question.
Yes.
That can answer that question.
Yes.
Right? And that's, I think.
Smart ass.
I think that's one in the Ron, it's one in the Ron column.
Yeah.
I see, I let you win.
Oh. Oh.
Pull up your sleeves, Sean.
Okay.
Get ready.
So I think
You did
that,
great, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
you really
You
did.
had him,
You
you
did.
had him twice.
You did twice, John.
You had him twice.
See, I usually try to get more than that before I transfer
Yeah,
it to
you're
Mark. 'Cause
way
if
too much.
if-
I'm ready to go. Let him get it.
Yeah, I'm just used to it.
No, but I do that too, where I've got someone
Yeah.
and I really just need to live transfer them or
Yeah.
just set the appointment.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to overqualify and it's just unneeded.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need,
Let that
I had to
do
remind
their
myself,
job.
get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Get out of the way and let this thing happen, you
Yeah.
know?
I
And
just
it's-
feel like whenever I don't get like a exact yes to that question that I ask at the end, and then I transfer it to Mark, it's already like a 75-25 that they're not gonna go with it. Because that's just what I've seen, so I
Don't
always,
prejudge it. Don't
I guess I
prejudge it.
overthink it because of what I've seen.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna waste his time by putting up something to him that,
There's a,
you know.
there's a balance there. You gotta use your judgment. But in this specific one, I think your first tie down was so good that it could have almost, when he said yes to that, you could have almost just said, look, or then he brought it up again, you could have said, look, I appreciate that. Let's see if we can answer your question or whatever. I just thought it was the first one was.
Yeah, I thought you had him there too.
Okay.
You went back in again.
And I was so adamant about not paying any money. All you had to say, look, this is a free consultation. 5 minutes of your time is gonna answer your question about how you get this sold without paying the commission.
And here, and if we're being real, as agents, sometimes if we were to hear that phone call, we might prejudge the fact that the commission's the real issue.
Really?
Would you agree?
Yeah, but I can get over that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't scare me. I mean, if it scares an agent, they should be an agent.
Right.
I mean, they should be doing this.
Right.
They should be just
I
getting
get the
referrals and be done with it.
Oh, yeah.
But, seriously.
Sorry.
We do hear from agents where I literally,
Yeah.
That
in
is
my
such
notes
a true
now,
statement though.
I used to put, they don't wanna pay commission. Right?
Good, you don't have to.
And that was just trying to tell them that in the conversation, like it started out.
Yeah.
So now I literally, with most of them, I have to go, the conversation started out, they didn't wanna pay commission,
Right.
and then went to this after I explained this, like,
Mhm.
because I have had a bunch of them go, I'm not calling this, they don't wanna pay commission, I'm like, I got them to the point where they're open-minded to hearing why they should, like, so
They
I have to
said
literally,
that,
like, write
but
that out. you
They
know?
said that, but that doesn't mean that's what they meant.
Right,
I
right.
mean, they're all gonna say that. Any agent that judges it based on the fact that they don't wanna pay commission, okay, that's a maybe.
Yeah.
I'm in, I'm in with you. You're not gonna pay me, don't worry about it, but I wanna talk to you.
Who wants to pay a commission?
Nobody.
Like, who wants to pay a commission? Nobody does.
Really?
It's like saying I want to overpay for a car.
That is a blow off. I don't wanna pay, that's all that is.
Yeah, it's just, it's just a knee jerk.
Mhm.
That's
It really is.
all it is. It's a conception. And that same person, and I wanna flip the camera, that same person that tells you they don't wanna pay commission, when you pull up the MLS 2 weeks later, is gonna be listed with an agent.
With a full
With
commission.
a full commission agent,
Mhm.
right? And that's what we gotta always keep in mind.
Is it possible that some agents don't use the net sheet because,
Very few of them do.
okay,
They don't know how to do it even effectively. If they use it, they don't do it effectively.
Mhm.
They go at the price of us, that's the best you're gonna do.
right?
No,
Because with the net sheet, that's where you can show them how the commission doesn't matter.
nothing matters. None of your closing costs matter. Really, think about it, because they're all there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you happy with that? Yeah, I'd be, cool, let's sign this, let's get this started.
Here's how rare it is too, that they actually do it. Precious and I started this relationship and process appointment with the agents to understand their market, their process, talk about our process and how we merge it. It's about a half-hour conversation we have with each agent. I went through 40, 50, and then you had another 20, 30 agents that we've done this with. And Xander was the first one that actually said, I do a net sheet and I do this, this, and that. So that speaks to how rare you're.
It is, it's the most powerful listing tool you have.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it clears everything up.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
And when you get a,
If that makes sense, and they like you and they trust you,
You're
they
done.
see value in your marketing
you're
plan,
done.
right?
Have another coffee, couple of cookies, you're there. You're gonna be there another 20 minutes. I mean, seriously, think about it.
Right.
Really.
All right, who wants to go next? You ready? All right, give it a shot.
All right, let's do it.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Well, hi, I'm looking to speak with the property owner on 123 Main Street.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, hi, I'm Ashley. Who am I speaking?
This is Ron.
Well, hey, Ron.
What'd you say your name was?
Ashley.
Ashley.
I was just looking online at a property. I was curious if you had sold it yet.
Oh, are you a buyer, Ashley?
That's a great question. Are you on the MLS or with an agent I could further direct my questions to?
Are you a buyer?
No, sir, I'm not. Let me tell you why I'm calling. My company, Advantage U, is a homeowner's resource.
Oh, you're an agent.
No, I'm not an agent. So what I do is I prospect for properties in your area that I think would do really well. We work with a professional network to help sellers like yourself attract that right qualified buyer and really maximize property value that you walk away with on the
Do
table.
you charge a commission? Because I'm not paying one.
No, sir. So my conversation is a free obligation, free service. I mean, I'm looking online here at your property, and it's a really beautiful place. Why would you even consider selling it?
Because I want to.
Okay, well, it definitely is a beautiful place. I'm curious.
If you're not
I
a
mean-
buyer or an agent, why do you even need to know that?
Oh, I'm just curious, sir. If you had an offer in the next 30 to 60 days on this, I mean, would you have a place to go? Could you accept that?
Yo, for sure.
All right. Well, I mean, so what I'd like to do is connect you with a regional specialist, really see if we can further assist you with that.
Well, I don't want to pay for any services. Look, if you got a buyer, bring them in.
Absolutely. Like I said, sir, our conversation, it's a free service, free,
So let's stop there.
no,
So
commitment.
what-
I know, I'm like motivation
That's
and
okay.
loss. I'm already,
It's okay, so Ron, what were you looking to hear there?
All I wanted her to tell me is basically that, it's free and non-committal. We work for you as a seller service,
yeah,
and we have a professional on the other line that probably could get you a buyer
thank you.
or help you find a buyer.
Mhm.
Can I transfer you now to Mark
Okay.
or to Precious?
How'd you get that qualified offer?
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
So we're never able to get the motivation from you. How does that go?
So
Well,
that was,
some of
that
the
was
other
what I was
lines
gonna
this
say.
morning.
The
Yeah.
motivation or
One of the-
paying?
So yeah, that's a good
I
question.
tried the
Let me-
offer.
let me see if
Should've
I
done
can
this
answer that
still
question.
looking
It goes
at my
back,
answer.
it goes back to, we're not getting him to talk about his plans. And remember, one of the best ways to do that is to ask him. if
Where
he's-
he's
I should
going.
have asked another one.
If you got an offer, like sooner than later, do you have another place lined up yet? That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is, if you got an offer in the next 30 to 60 days, like, are you moving into a house or are you staying local? So you just
I need
wrap
to
it
segue that
around, you
sentence.
wrap it around, if the offer came, what are you doing?
Yeah, or
And they're more, yeah, go ahead.
Or what I don't hear is that if we're able to help you, do you have a place to go? Do you
Yeah,
have
there
a
you
plan
go.
in mind?
If we're able to
If
help
we're
you,
able to help you,
That's
I've
really good.
not heard that yet.
if we're able to help you get an offer, or be able to help you with this transaction, do you have something already lined up that you can move to?
Okay, I think in the past, when we've asked that question to sellers in the past, in my experience is that they say, you're being too presumptuous, I haven't even thought that far, I'm just trying to get this property sold, but I understand what you're saying.
Good, but
With
that's,
asking
that's,
another way.
that's a
Awesome.
transfer.
That's awesome, because you found a major pain point.
Huge.
Right,
So,
Okay.
when they say, well, you know, I haven't even thought that far ahead, I gotta get this one sold. What they're saying is, you know what, yeah, I have a problem. And so like what you do is then say, okay, so basically what you're saying is you really need to get this whole home sold before you can move on. Yes, I do, I absolutely do. Okay, well, based on what you just shared with me, it's a perfect tie down.
absolutely.
Because they just told you, they have to get this sold before they can move on and achieve the other goals they want to achieve.
Okay.
And then pretty much you can say something like, so, okay, so based on that, I think we can help you. And because what you're saying is if you got the right offer on this home, then you'd be in a position to be able to move on and and find a property that you want to find, right?
Right.
Okay, so let me do this. Let me introduce you to one of the professionals that I think can help you with that.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And they'll have a conversation then about finding a home and also what it's gonna take to get this one sold too. Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
We use that with
Yeah.
a really, really hard for sale by owner. One of the hardest ones that we talk to
Okay,
that will at least keep talking.
yeah,
John talked to her twice. I talked to her twice. She's in like the mountains of Utah, or the edge of the mountains in Utah, the foothills. And like, I just couldn't get her around to just talk with Xander. And then I finally realized on the third call to her, I'm like, I keep concentrating on this home. And
Yeah.
we had just had that conversation about
right,
concentrating on the dreams
The dreams.
and what she wants to get to.
right,
So the third conversation with her went,
totally different.
where is this place that you're looking for? What are you looking for? And I set up a buyer's lead for Xander.
Right,
And she got in there. Now, it didn't go anywhere right away because she's got a very specific type of place that she wants and it's not available yet.
Right.
She hasn't found it and Xander
Right.
hasn't found it. But she at least had that conversation with the for sale by owner about the next step
That's right.
plan. And probably I didn't follow up with Xander on it yet, but she got some information to get in the door on this for sale by owner with like an $850,000 property that she won't talk about until she has that
that's
thing,
so good.
you know?
You know, if you wanna find out a little more too, you can always give them a scenario that they're not thinking about. I gotta sell my house first. All right, great, so if we were able to find you a cash buyer, well-qualified cash buyer who could close in 2 weeks, do you have somewhere you can go in 2 weeks? No?
And it just gets them thinking.
You know,
Yeah.
what do you
Just
mean?
gets them
I gotta find a place first.
Right.
You need to talk to our professional to help you with this.
Yeah.
They're in over their head right now, cause they're not thinking this out.
Because let's say the offer did come,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Not like, what are they gonna do?
Okay, I'll sell you my house, but I'm staying here forever until there's no, you know, cause you could do a rent back, but you know, you
Yeah,
can tell
there
them.
are options.
Yeah, but maybe they don't know.
Yeah, how would they know that?
How would they know?
Mhm. That's good. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do it again and.
Yeah.
And give it a shot, but then let's, let her get through the transfer, so then
Okay,
we can go to the.
I'll be nicer to her.
You were nice.
Yeah, it
pretty
was
nice.
actually.
John's still pouting.
I mean, I'm half asleep. I will gladly go again if you want me to try. Hold on. Okay, no.
No, we're gonna let
You
Ashley
wanna-
go. No, we're gonna let Ashley go.
All right, ring, ring.
Hello.
We gotta get a
Oh,
scoreboard.
hi, I was looking to speak with the property owner on 123 Main Street.
Yeah, this is him.
Oh, hi, my name's Ashley, with whom am I speaking?
This is Ron.
Oh, hey, Rana. I was looking online at the property. I was curious if you had sold it yet.
No, not yet. Are you a buyer, Ashley?
That's a great question, sir. Is it on the MLS or with an agent I could talk to about it?
Well, are you a buyer?
No, sir. Let me tell you why I'm calling it. My company, Advantage U, we're a homeowner's resource, so we work with a professional network to help you attract that right qualified buyer and really not leave any money on the table. I mean, it seems like such a beautiful property. If you don't mind me asking, why are you considering selling it?
Yeah, I mind you asking.
Okay, I understand that. I'm just curious. I mean, if you had a real solid offer in the next, 30 to 60 days, I mean, where are you looking to go?
I don't know yet, Ashley. I haven't got that far.
Okay, well, the only reason why I asked, Ron, is because with my company, you know, as a homeowner's resource, we work to help people who haven't been able to sell the property for whatever reason, and also help them acquire new places. You know, we are a national company and widely regarded as trusted advisors. I mean, if you did get a solid offer on the home, you know, in that next month or two, I mean, that's a conversation worth having for you, right?
Oh, yeah, as long as I got the offer I want.
All right, that's great, Rhonda. What I'd like to do is bring my partner Precious on the line. She's a regional specialist in your area. I really think she could further help you and assist through that. Give me one moment while I get her on the line. Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hi, Precious. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on, Ashley?
Oh, I'm great. I actually have Ron here on the line at 123 Main Street. He's looking to sell his home, you know, in the next month or two. If he can get that right qualified offer. We were talking a little, you know, he might need help finding another place to go. He hasn't gotten that far yet, and I know that you're real specialized in the area. I knew you'd be able to help him out with that. Does that
Excellent.
sound about right, Ron?
Yep.
All right. Ron, you are in capable hands. You have a great one.
Hey, thank you.
Excellent, thank you so much, Ashley. Hey, Ron, how's your day going?
Not bad, and yours?
Pretty good. Exactly as Ashley said, my name is Precious. I'm a trusted advisor for the Tacoma area. And I just want to start out by saying I'm not a real estate agent. I know you probably are getting bombarded with calls at this point.
Oh, yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah, let me ask you, are you, you're not contracted with an agent or on the MLS, are you?
Oh, no. See, I don't want to pay any commissions.
Okay. Are you selling this as on your own or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how hard can this be?
No, absolutely. I know you're probably very, very capable. What made you consider selling this in the first place? This is a spectacular property based on the pictures that I can see online.
Well, I'm just ready to move, that's all.
You're just
That's
ready
all
to
I'm
move.
gonna say, yeah.
I got you. Where you headed next? Are you staying in town or are you moving out of the
Yeah, I'll
area?
probably stay local, I'm not really sure yet.
You staying local? You're not really sure yet? Do you already have a property picked out or in mind? Or you?
No, I gotta sell this before I can do anything.
Okay, so you don't have a property picked out and you need to sell this before you can proceed with things. Am I understanding that right?
That is correct.
Okay, well, the good thing, Ron, is that we work nationally, so not only would we be able to help you to sell this property for the most possible money, maybe even at or above market value, but we could also help you to know about the available inventory locally in the area and help you to get into the next home as well, okay?
Okay.
So as I said, I'm not a real estate agent. My company is Advantage U, and we actually just specialize in helping a for sale by owner with attracting that right qualified buyer and really just ensuring that you're not losing a bunch of money at closing. The first thing is, and the other thing is that really ensuring that you're not succumbing.
Can I stop you?
Oh, yes.
You just gave a great value statement before that.
Okay.
You could have went right for the appointment.
Yeah.
You could have introduced the agent and went right for the appointment.
Okay.
Because what you did is you said, we actually can help you find a home as well as get this one sold for top dollar. You had a perfect benefit statement. You said that line already in a different way.
Okay.
So now it sounded like you were just repeating yourself.
I think I do that quite often, if I'm honest with you.
And you were just, but it was so.
I think I could go on that wheel a little bit.
It was just so perfectly set up
Mhm.
where you could have just introduced the agent and went to the appointment.
Okay.
You found the agent on our network and just go for the appointment. It was so perfectly set up the way you said it. Because you're like, yeah, we could, help you get this one sold, but also maybe, help you identify what's on the inventory so you can find a place to go.
Right.
So what I want to do at this point is actually introduce you to so-and-so.
Based on what you
Based on
told
what
me.
you've told
Right.
me, that could, and then get the appointment. See if you can transfer, obviously, the same day appointment.
Okay.
So, quick story actually from yesterday. I was having some fun in the operation at the other office, and we were going on the floor just trying to get the floor fired up. And you mentioned environment. The environment's different. You got 60 people, over there. It's chaotic. It's crazy. And then, but there was no energy on the floor. So I'm like, you know what? Heck with this. So me and Mike go out on the floor, and I was standing next to Jabrell,
Mhm.
and I'm like, Jabrell, just give me your headset. And then so I just grabbed his headset, put it on, and this for sale by owner answered the phone within 30 seconds. So I had nothing pulled up. I'm like, oh my goodness. So
Action.
I haven't used Moso in I don't know how long. So I'm like,
Great. Whoa.
wow.
I
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, so I, so I'm like, the opening wasn't the best, but I said, you know, I'm looking to speak to the homeowner of the property for sale, 123 4th Street. Yeah, I was just calling to see if the home had sold or if you still would, consider selling it. He goes, actually, I think it's sold. He used the word I think, and this is why we gotta listen. He goes, I think it's sold. I think it's sold, but we're just kind of waiting for them to get qualified. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you think it's sold, but you don't know if they're gonna qualify for the loan yet. Well, it's looking good, but they haven't given us the qualification letter yet, right?
Oh, boy.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of people prospecting on that type of account wouldn't have heard the word I think. Right? Or they wouldn't have heard that or done, they would have heard, okay, it's sold.
It's sold, yeah.
And the only reason why I got the I think too, because I think he said, yeah, I have an offer on it. And I go, okay, so you have a solid offer on it. And then he said, yeah, I think so. We're just waiting for, but if I wouldn't have asked or dug a little bit deeper. And then I go, okay, let me ask you if that offer, for whatever reason, falls through, and I hope it doesn't, what's your plan B? And he goes, well, just to put it on the market again. And I go, okay. And I said, well, how long has it been on the market? He goes, 3 weeks. And I go, all right. Well, considering what you've shared with me, how it's been on the market in 3 weeks, and you don't know if you necessarily have a solid offer yet, what I'd like to do, and I didn't have to ask him 42 other questions. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I already found his pain that he doesn't have a plan B. He's gonna have to put it on the market, and that it's already been on for 3 weeks. I go, considering you've been on the market for 3 weeks, this offer isn't necessarily solid. I think you owe it to yourself to meet with an agent on our network just to make sure you have a plan B set up. And I said, if it makes sense to put if there was a solid plan B presented to you where you could get what you needed to get, regardless of commissions, that'd be a conversation that would make sense to have, right? What do you think he said?
Yeah.
That whole call was 5 minutes. And then I said, all right, so the agent that I want to actually have come out is so-and-so. And the reason why I want them to come out is because they're used to dealing with situations like these, and they're just really down to earth and professional, and they're the type of person, if they don't think it's a fit, they won't ask to work with you. Does that sound fair? And so when we promote the agent, sometimes we're trying to promote their credentials, okay? Do you know why most people list with an agent? Because they like them.
Right.
Not because of anything they do.
Well, that's business in general.
That's just business in general, right?
People do business with people
People
they
they
like and trust.
don't like and trust. But we'll sit here and talk about all the other stuff that isn't human. Like, their marketing plan is awesome, right? And they sell homes in 52 days or less, right? And that's what we say. But the real conversation is the human conversation.
Yeah.
It's the conversation that says, you know what? The reason why I like John, Mary, is because they're not the type of agent that's just gonna come out there and stick a sign in the yard. They're really, really down to earth, and they really, really care about the people that they work with. And I think you're gonna like to, just even talking to them, I think will be a good experience for you. And by the way, they sell a ton of homes too. So what time works where you guys hear the difference in that conversation?
Yeah. It brings human aspect to the
It's
comment.
a human, yeah. And if they
It's an
feel
actual
like,
conversation.
if they feel like that person that's gonna come out is gonna be their friend, gonna be their
Yeah.
trusted advisor.
They're one of the
just there to help.
friendliest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah,
You know,
that's-
sense of humor, and they'll answer all your questions, and you'll at least enjoy the
Yeah.
conversation.
That's right.
But with that seller too, and he said he was waiting for get the pre-qual of it. I said, how long have you been waiting for that?
Yeah,
Has it been more than 24 hours?
it had been.
Because you can get
That's
those
right.
in 24 hours. And then I would go like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
You just kind of plant that little seed, like, what do you mean? Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of a long time. Your house is off the market, actually, isn't it?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, that kind of happened to a guy I was talking to on the Platsky account yesterday. He had a buyer that didn't have a qualification letter, and like they ended up backing out at the last second, and he had already put an offer in on his new home.
Oh, but
And it was
subject to
contingent.
non-performance.
Yeah, and it was contingent on him selling his home.
Mm.
So he's like, I mean, if you guys can help me, that'd be great, but I need this thing sold within 4 days. So I was like, let me get you in touch with Mark to see if that's something we can help you with, and he happened to be busy once Mark was talking to him. Do we have to call him back still, right?
We still gotta get him
Yeah.
live to Brandon, he's in, he was literally on the job site managing his guys, and he's like, call me back, Mark, I'll talk to him, so he's,
Okay.
yeah. I think I went at him a little too hard, actually, because once he brought him over, I was like, he gave me the pain that, like, this other deal fell through, now I'm stuck with a contingency. I've gotta get it sold, I have no choice to get it sold right away. So I was immediately rolling him into, okay, let's get you in touch with Pulaski right away, and I think I would have actually scared him with how quick I was transferring. But you could tell, he's like talking to this guy at his job site and that guy,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta feel it out. Yeah, you just gotta feel it out, so.
I have an educational question,
Yes.
this is an SDS, and I've kind of had some clarification before, but now I'm not certain pending this conversation. When you're looking at it on Zillow, and they're like either, we have an offer, we're taking back with offers, or it's pending, or it's at like a certain level, like at what point for us is it that we should still be inquiring
Well, like you
to see if
said,
it's a good fit?
if they say it's unqualified or like they're still waiting for them to get qualified, that's not like a real offer. It's kind of just like a, hey, I'll pay you $375 for your house. Okay, can you get $375? Yeah, sure. And then I just sit here and don't show you
can ask
any
them if
proof.
they have a written offer.
Yeah,
If it's not in writing, it's not.
right.
I've
You
had
know,
pendings
if
and
they say,
past
like-
callback and different things, and I just don't know what's worth making sure we go back and follow up or not, like, I guess I just didn't quite know how to flesh out to determine.
I mean, that's like a
what's worth
one, I'd
each
say
bet.
1 out of 10 where they actually aren't like a real offer. 1 out of 10, I'd say.
Okay.
So I would just ask them if it's in writing and if they've already got pre-qualified.
Okay.
And if they say no to both of those, then, just so you know, in case it falls through, we'd like to be a resource for you versus, if it's already in writing
Yeah,
and they've been qualified, or if they say things like, we're closing on Friday, like,
yeah,
that's already a
that's
done
pretty
deal.
solid.
Okay, so, I think this is really good training.
Yeah.
I think this is really good, so, SDS is you're good to go. Round of applause, give them.
Come on, you guys.
So much, okay.
I mean, we can go again real quick. I can get you live TV'd in less than 30 seconds.
I think he kinda likes the
No,
idea that you're
I'm
gonna-
gonna relish in my glory for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, he's gonna
let you stew all
weekend.
Whatever gets you through the weekend.
I'll
my
let you
friend.
win again next time, don't worry.
Oh, let me win?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's fun.
All right, Ron.
All right, so can I go?
Don't worry, I'll still help you across the street on lunch.
No, thanks.
All right, I need to get better. Yesterday, I was talking to one, and,
Show that door.
as soon as I said, in the introduction, I was telling Isaiah about this, I can't remember exactly what I said, but he was just right, a knee jerk, and I tried to sidestep the knee jerk, but I couldn't get it past it. He goes, I'm sorry, what did he say? He goes, listen, this conversation is over. Click. I can't remember, I was like, in the
Yeah.
beginning, I
Did
couldn't.
you call him back?
No, I didn't
Good.
call him. It was actually expired, it had been listed like 4 times, and it expired in 4 times, and I'm honestly looking for the for sale by owners, but I said, just call them. And, anyway, so I wanna practice, and I'm gonna get better.
You wanna
So,
practice on a for sale by owner
Yeah.
or expired?
for sale by owner, that's really what I'm trying to get to, so.
Okay,
Um,
why, now you don't feel good about expired now, cause you got hung up on?
No,
Was he an expired or was he a?
he wasn't expired.
An expired.
And I called him, and I don't think it would have mattered if he was either one. It was just him, and
Yeah.
I didn't respond. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't get it right. So
Did you say it was 4 times expired? Or?
yeah, I marked it a few times.
That's interesting.
Right. So anyway, all right. So let me call. I'll call Ron. So ring. Ring.
Oh!
Hi, can I speak to Ron, please?
This is right.
Hi, Ron. How are you? My name's Jamie Forte. I was actually calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Is that still available?
Yeah, it is. Are you a buyer?
Actually, I'm not a buyer, Ron, but I was just calling. I'm actually with the Dream Team at EXP, and I was real quick just want to know if you were able to get an acceptable offer in the next 30 to 60 days. Do you have a plan for your next step on where you would go?
Oh, I'm not sure, Jamie, I'm still thinking about that, I gotta think ahead of that, I guess, a little bit, but are you an agent?
Yeah,
What's
actually,
EXP?
yeah, actually, I am an agent, and, we're a team with EXP Realty. And let me ask you, do you need help in, finding that next home?
I don't know yet, I don't wanna pay any commissions on selling mine though.
Yeah, I understand you wanna pay commission, that makes sense. Let me ask you a quick question. How long has it been on the market, your home?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Okay, great. And have you got any acceptable offers in that 3-week timeframe?
No, if I did, I wouldn't be, it wouldn't be for sale.
When I, hold on, time out. So when I say, I'm thinking acceptable offer, but should I just say any offers?
You could say acceptable, all right, because it's.
But it's kind of a dumb question.
No, not really, because you want him to think, I haven't got anything that I want.
Okay.
So,
Because if he had an acceptable offer, it would be sold.
He would have said sold,
Oh.
right up front.
Okay.
The reason you say that is to make it think through that even if he got offers, I'm not getting what I want for the house.
Okay.
You know, that's a pain point.
Right. Okay, that's it.
yeah, so, I try to be careful early on in conversations not to set off any sales triggers. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but, it was just the way it came out, I think, when you said, do you need help? Do you need any help finding, finding another place? And it almost came off, instead of just asking a question, as if like you wanted to be the person to help him.
Oh, okay.
So you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just what I heard. It might be yeah.
No, it's good. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, he's sharing with me a pain point,
Yeah,
but how do I tap into that? Maybe it was too soon.
a little too soon, that's all.
Okay.
Is that, get the conversation down a little bit further, and then just save that ammunition as a tie down.
Yeah. And you can say too, if you thought out the process of getting a buyer for your home and then the next step, how that's gonna work for you?
Right.
What do you mean? You're an agent. Now you can talk to them like an agent. You can say, well, you get a buyer for your house, you gotta sell your house first. That's what I'm assuming, yes? Yeah, okay. So when the buyer comes to buy your house, then what? The guy's gonna say, I find another one? Well, there's a whole process here.
Yeah.
And what if you don't? Then what?
Right.
The buyer's not gonna go away. Or do you wanna lose that buyer?
So would I have that, I guess my question is,
Conversation that early.
in that
No,
early.
not that early,
Yeah,
but,
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things, just as a reminder, is that when we're talking to them, it literally is a discovery conversation to see if it's even makes sense to have a discovery meeting. You get what I'm saying? So we just gotta be careful with our language to make sure that we stay in discovery.
Okay.
And then from there, we take, when the moment's right, then we use that as an opportunity to then, okay, so based on what you're saying, it makes sense for us to meet, to have an in-person discovery, so.
All right.
Yep.
So let's try it again. Okay, so ring.
Hello?
Hi, could I speak to Ron, please?
Sure.
Is this Ron?
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, how are you? My name's Jamie Forte. I was just actually calling about your house at 123 Main Street. Is that still available?
Oh, are you a buyer?
Actually, I'm not a buyer, Ron, but I was just curious, are you still selling it?
Yeah,
Are you selling it on your own?
yeah.
You are? Okay, great. Well, the reason I was calling, I'm with the Dream Team at EXP, and I just was curious if you were able to get an acceptable offer within the next 30 to 60 days. Do you have a plan for your next step?
No, not really, but are you an agent?
I am an agent, actually.
Oh, I'm not paying a commission there, young fella.
No, I understand. That makes sense. Let me ask you, how long have you had it on the market?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Okay,
Do
great.
you have a buyer?
Actually, I don't have a buyer at this time, but my question for you, Ron, real quick, was what have you received any acceptable offers in that time frame?
No,
You haven't?
no.
Okay. Are you satisfied with that result?
Well, I don't know, it's only been 3 weeks.
Right.
Takes time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I understand. Just curious, what are you doing to market it? What's your market?
I got on that Zillow, Craigslist.
Oh, really? Got Zillow?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. So you feel like that's attracting enough potential buyers to look at your property?
Well, everybody uses Zillow, don't they?
Actually, no, it's funny you ask. I mean, Zillow actually opens you up to about 20% of the buyer pool out there. But, anyway, that being said, let me ask you a question. I'm wondering like how many more questions I should ask him. Should I keep going or just go for the appointment?
Yeah, so I probably would've went through the appointment maybe like 3 questions earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm trying to remember what he asked me, and he had an opening.
Yeah, the second you get with a personality like him, he's different than a lot of other calls, but they're just the tougher ones. So like, with a personality like them, you get to the point, you tell them why you're calling, and you ask for the appointment, and you let the objection come out,
Okay.
and then you ask questions, and you kind of save your questions for after the first objection cycle.
Okay,
And because the type A's, they can't stand being needled with questions.
right, that's what I'm thinking, like,
They
he's
can't
like, will you
stand-
get off
Yeah,
the phone?
Yeah,
I don't wanna
they just-
talk to you.
They just can't stand being needled with questions, so your approach changes a little bit.
So here, in my mind, I'm thinking of this build rapport. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to build rapport by asking the
Uh-huh.
questions and finding the motivation of
Yeah.
that, but I might not have to.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, rapport for him and finding common ground for him might be getting to the point. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So how you build rapport with me versus Precious versus, whoever is different. And that's kind of like the art of it, like you have a process, but then like, okay, I also have that personality on the line. So if I'm with Ron, the way I build rapport with Ron is to talk like Ron.
What you do.
Does that make sense? or
So
no?
if I'm not dealing with a type A, then I
Yeah.
might have to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, ask a few more
Ask
questions.
some more questions, all right.
Yeah, build a little bit more, let them talk about their house more. Yeah.
But if you have that D type A,
Yeah.
you've gotta hit it right off.
You gotta
the
hit
bat.
it.
When I asked you if you had a buyer, and you said, no, not really. You could have said, well, I'm not sure yet, and I'm trying to figure out if I have one for your property, or you could say, because I don't know I haven't seen your property yet, so therefore I can't tell you if I have one or not, but I'd really love to see it. I'd like to know what the inventory is.
And the truth of the matter is we don't know if somebody in our network has one.
Yeah, you don't know.
Like, we could go to Bill, and we could say, hey, look, this property was for sale by the owner, do you have anybody for it?
You could say, if I brought your buyer, would you pay a buyer's commission? Well, yeah, I might do that. Oh, okay, great. When can I come over and see your house? Let's see if what we got going here. Well, what do you mean? Well, I can't, I gotta see it. I gotta know the inventory, and if I don't have one today, maybe I'll have one tomorrow. Get calls all the time.
One simple thing I used to say too is, yeah, Ron, I appreciate that question. I don't feel comfortable answering that question one way or another at this point, and so I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. And then ask them a couple more questions, because how could I answer that question
Yeah,
at this
you
point?
don't know what his house looks like.
You get what I'm saying?
Plus the buyer doesn't
The
know.
buyer doesn't know.
The buyer,
The buyer's
when
not
you
gonna
look
know.
at homes online, you don't know if that's definitely your home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, right? So how would the agent of the buyer know that this is definitely the home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to word
How
this to
many
the for
times
sale
have you
by
heard
owner, but.
the pictures were a lot better than the real life house. The pictures made it look real good,
Right.
you know?
Like in my situation, it's the exact opposite.
Can I take a stab at it once, Jamie, and then we'll circle back around? Is that cool?
Yeah.
So, hello? Hello? Ring, ring.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Ron?
Yeah,
Hey, Ron, this is Isaiah Colton. I was just following up on a conversation you actually had with John Lehman from Advantage U. He mentioned that you were on the market for a couple weeks and hadn't got an offer yet, and it seemed like a nice home, so I just had a couple quick follow-up questions to your conversation with John.
are you an agent?
So, good question. I'm not an agent. Actually, I'm gonna pretend I am an
Yeah,
agent.
yes.
Yeah, so, good question. I am a real estate professional, and I actually specialize in helping homeowners like yourself attract the right qualified buyer, Ron. And when I say right qualified buyer, the one that's gonna appreciate the home as much as you do. Let me ask you, it seems like a nice home here. If you did get the offer and we were able to help you with that, do you have a place lined up that you're ready to go to yet?
No, not yet, Isaiah. I have to sell mine first.
You have to sell yours first?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I can't buy no houses, it's all mine.
Okay, well, maybe we could help you with that as well. Let me ask you, what area are you looking to stay in?
Locally,
Locally?
Mhm.
Okay, what suburbs?
just the price range, I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
I
so
like
Greece,
Yeah, west side, east side, it doesn't matter.
Really?
Taxes are gonna be important to me.
taxes?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably west side then, if the taxes are.
Possibly, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
2-story, 1-story?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet?
Mm.
Okay.
Maybe a ranch,
You have a
getting older.
Ranch?
Yeah, no steps.
3-bedroom?
It doesn't matter,
Square
just me and the old lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and the old lady?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So Ron, if you could get this home sold, regardless of commissions and get into the property that you wanted to, that'd be a conversation that makes sense to have, right?
I'm not paying commission to do that. I can do that myself.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and at this point, Ron, nobody's asking you to pay commission. I'm definitely not asking you to pay commission over the phone. What I wanted to do is set up a discovery meeting, show you what I've done for some other people in your type of situation. And again, this is a discovery meeting, Ron, so I'm not gonna come over and ask you to doesn't necessarily work with me, just to show you what we can possibly, if we can possibly help you. So I'm gonna be in the area like 7 o'clock. What time tomorrow, or what time works for you, like later tonight, 7, or would 6 work better?
Oh, I don't know, Isaiah, give me another week or two and let me see what happens here. I wanna see if I can get this thing going. I've got some people calling and, you know, hopefully set up some appointments, so.
Okay.
Give it another couple
Good,
weeks.
so another week or two, and then, let me ask you, another week or two, did you have a plan B yet set up?
What do you mean, plan B?
Like a plan B of how to get homes sold in a week or two if it hasn't sold yet?
Well, no, I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, Ron, and that's totally cool. Look, before I let you go, let me ask you, what are you doing right now to market the property?
I got it on Zillow.
You got it on Zillow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else outside of Zillow?
No, Zillow.
Zillow? Okay.
Everybody uses Zillow, don't they?
Well, the interesting thing about Zillow is it's a great resource, Ron, don't get me wrong, but the way Zillow does it is if you're for sale by owner, they don't give you preferential treatment, they make sure all the other agents get shown first. And so what's happened is you're literally limiting yourself to less than 20% of the market. And so here's the thing, Ron, I wanted to show you how I could get you some more exposure. And Ron, at the end of the day, regardless of the commission, if you net what you need to net, that's really what matters to you, right?
What do you mean that?
If you walk away with the dollar amount that you need after everything, that's really what matters, right?
Oh, yeah, I gotta have a certain amount of money, yeah.
All right, so let me come over at 6 o'clock then. Does that work for you?
How long you gonna be here?
As long as you want me. I
Okay.
only got about a 15-minute window, but if you have questions, I'd be willing to stay a little bit longer.
All right, I guess there's no harm in that, there's no charge, right?
No charge, no, nothing.
You're not bringing
free
any
consultation.
contracts and stuff like that with you, are you?
Maybe donuts. You
Oh,
like
that'd be
donuts?
nice.
Okay, how
That'd
about
be
coffee?
Oh, cheesecake.
All right, cheesecake's good too.
That's good.
All right, awesome. So I'll see you at 6, Ron.
Okay,
All
fine,
right,
thanks.
look, just have an open mind when I show up, okay?
Oh, I'm open.
All right, you got it.
That was great. The tie downs.
It's all about
And,
finance.
and Mark gave me this great list of tie down questions
Yeah.
yesterday, thank
Good,
you.
good.
I gotta practice those, because I noticed, you're giving the info,
Yeah.
but then the tie down question. It would, if I could help you sell your home faster and for more money, that would be a conversation we're having, right?
Right,
Like, that's what gets you now to the next,
yeah, that's right. And then you can go right
I'm
for
gonna
the
come
appointment.
over.
Yeah, you go right for the
that's why I gotta
appointment.
work on the tie down.
And what happens a lot of times too is we'll get even when we get a strong tie down, sometimes we keep talking. And it's good just to go for it.
But during that conversation, you focused on the dream, like where he was
Yeah.
going to next the entire time, the beginning of it. And
Yeah.
that's what I heard was the difference from
Yeah.
what you talked about versus Jamie. And I think that's what got you in the door.
Absolutely, because if a guy like him, if I sit there and blast him about his current situation with his
Yeah.
home, he ain't gonna, he's not.
What if they
talk to him.
what if they don't tell you or don't wanna tell you where they're going? They just have to
It's just
discover more questions.
Usually it's just about how you ask the question.
Yeah,
Um,
it's how at this point.
yeah, it's like how the question's asked, so like, and it's hard to even, it's kind of like just trial and error how you do it, so like, but if you notice that what I did is I said, if an offer came in and we were able to help you, you know, track that offer, what, are you looking to, or how did I ask it, so, because I don't like asking, are you looking to stay in the area, it's too generic.
You asked a
So-
few, like west side, east side.
Yeah, so are
and
you,
just-
yeah, so do you have anything else lined up to move into right away, or what's your situation? I think that's how I asked it, something like that. What's the situation with that?
Mhm.
Well, I don't have anything yet, okay, well, maybe I could help you
You
with
said
that.
single level,
Yeah,
two-story.
two-story.
You gotta start asking questions
Yeah.
like that.
Kitchen, bath, what type of preferences do you have?
Mhm.
Because this might be a buyer. Like, if I can't work with them on the south side, I might be able to help
Yeah.
them find a home.
And I think you're tapping into what he wants to do.
Yes,
And so-
simultaneously.
Yeah, and I really do want to get this thing
Yes.
sold, and that's good.
Yep.
So more questions about where, what type of home,
Yeah.
what type of features and all that kind of stuff. But how many questions would, I just, it's a feeling, I guess, right?
You gotta just feel it out.
How many questions?
You listen, while you're asking the questions, you listen to their tone and how they're answering them.
Yeah,
And you just kind of like intuitively start getting used to knowing when to go, when to go for it.
If they're warming up, you'll feel it.
yeah.
You
If they're
can-
warming up, then ask them.
Cause the mistake is the mistake is, it's a fine balance, and so if we keep it going too long and there's too much rapport, it's actually easier for them to start to blow us off if there's too much rapport, and then if there's not enough, then we get the click.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, so it's like, it's that fine balance.
Okay.
So,
I have a question. What's the Zillow stat that I keep hearing about? I don't know anything. I heard Mark say it a few times, John, and I know nothing about Zillow.
The Realtor
It's a
Association.
National Association of
Everyone's
Realtors
saying it and I know nothing
survey.
about it.
Is that really?
Yes,
Everyone keeps
it
talking.
was, where do we
about
have it? It was in print somewhere.
All right, yeah, we gotta get that.
Realtor Association, right?
Yeah,
No.
National
I'll
Association.
remember that, cause you got me with it. Yes.
I'm sorry, where am I going to find this info?
we don't know.
Oh.
We're
Okay, I got you.
One thing for sure is though, if they go on Zillow and look at their listing, you can say, did you notice any pictures of real estate agents next to your listing?
All of our agents, actually.
Well, they're gonna see 3 of them usually or
Yeah,
more.
all of our agents, to be honest.
Zillow is funded by agents. It's a
Oh.
prospecting tool they pay for, so people put their houses on that for free.
So they're gonna give the agent's listings or the agent's preferential treatment over the for somebody owner's listing.
But also the buyers who looking at your listing can click on an agent thinking it might be their listing, and that agent actually could sell them something else.
Just go play with it.
Yeah,
Go
see
play
what
with
happens.
Zillow.
Yeah,
Watch what happens.
yeah. Well, if I, just looking at it, I would think that the person to the right would be the listing agent because it says premier agent.
There's 3 of
There's
them.
3 of them, and I would
Yeah,
think that,
they paid to be there.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
All right, we're out of time, so hopefully that was helpful, guys.
Great.
Yes.
Good, awesome. Thought the energy was really good in here today, guys, everyone was interactive.
This right here, we can utilize this as.
Okay, so the action step with that is to try